Welcome to Outback Outdoors. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click the alert to stay up to date on all our new videos.
Africa has always been a dream destination for bow hunters. In 2014, Justin and Shelley Wampler, field producers for Outback Outdoors, got the opportunity to go on a dream hunt. They got to join friends and family and check off some of those trophies from their bucket list.
Hear this, I've rode through howling hell and wind and snow and rain. I am oblivious to misery and pain, and that iron in your gizzard, it will never go away. So long as you got work to do today, and there's a monster on your back, son, get your guts up off the trail. We got a job to do, and I promise we won't fail. One day you'll learn your scars and all the fearlessness you lack. Don't worry about that ornery Charlie bull, the monster's on your back. There's a monster on your back.
Africa to me was always an unattainable destination. It was set aside for men of wealthy stature, deep pockets. We just never thought we'd be able to do it until a good buddy of mine, Will, we sat down with him and he put a group together to make it easier for people like us to go.
You gotta report that to the office. You can find my silence. I'm on that.
This whole trip took us the better part of 3 days. After about 48 hours and 3 plane rides, we finally made it into East London, and then still had a 3.5-hour drive into Hunters Hill.
Hunters Hill Safaris is a 55,000 acre concession with home to more than 60 different animal species, with accommodations above and beyond the average lifestyle.
This segment brought to you by Hamsky Archery Solutions, maximizing your accuracy.
Going into this, our expectations of Africa were very high. After watching TV shows and talking to friends that had previously been, we were expecting this parade of animals to come into the blinds and we would have our choice. But due to unusual circumstances, we would soon find out this wasn't the case.
The obvious way to bow hunt these animals would be to do it from a ground blind over a water hole or maybe a food source. But at the time that we went, they had already received their annual amount of rainfall by May. So it made hunting from a ground blind very difficult because the animals had no need to come to that water hole, and even a baited ground blind became a gamble of whether you would see anything. The other option for us was to spot and stalk, but we learned really quickly how weary these animals really were. Even spotting the truck from 1,000 yards away, they would turn and run. This was going to make it even more challenging to get within an effective bow range.
After many failed stalks and failed sits, frustrations were high going into day 3. What made it worse was we were trying to capture both hunts with one cameraman. With only having one cameraman, it forced either Shelly or I to set out while one was hunting, which really cut into our opportunities. Our luck would soon turn around when the head PH Bruce Nyland took us to another property and got us within bow range of our first African animal. We put a hit on that Impala, so we're gonna give him a few minutes, walk over here and try to pick up some blood. So we decided to back out this afternoon. We had another hunter come in. We wanted to let him go ahead and get his fair opportunity for some animals on that property. And went back in this evening, and the trackers were able to go ahead and round this guy up. And it's a little dark out, but we finally got him.
I'm Kenton Claremont with Train to Hunt, and this is the Wilderness Athlete Minute. For those of you out there who do a lot of spot and stalking, there's a couple things you definitely want to have in your tool belt. One is the ability to belly crawl a long distance. And secondly, you definitely want to be able to shoot from a kneeling position. So here's an exercise that you can do that'll help increase the effectiveness of both of those. It's called the burpee. The burpee starts with a standing position. You go down to the ground, touch your chest on the ground, and then return to the standing position. This is going to increase upper body strength, flexibility, and body awareness. All of these are going to really help you in your belly crawl. You also just want to do some belly crawling with your pack on your back. This is also going to help for you to be able to shoot effectively with a high heart rate, because we all know those big bucks can have a tendency to get our heart rates up. A good workout would be to do 10 burpees, belly crawl for 10 to 20 yards, and then shoot a target from a kneeling position. If you do this between 2 and 10 rounds, you're going to find yourself ready for that stalking situation. Consider these tips to help you be more successful on your next hunt.
This segment brought to you by Hoyt. Get serious, get Hoyt.
Going into day 4 of our 7-day hunt, with only one animal down, Shelly and I had decided to split up. We knew this would double our odds, but was also a gamble due to the fact that we only had one cameraman. But my PH Dylan volunteered to take an extra camera that we had to try and capture my hunt, while Dustin went with Shelly in the blind.
Done.
Success finally on day 4. We had a little right through. Beautiful black springbuck, female, but I'll take it. It's a trophy in my book. Let's go get her. We are in day 4 and we're exhausted. These animals are smart, they're quick, they're wary. It's been tough. I'm the last one to put an animal on the board, so hopefully it gets better from here.
This segment brought to you by Rage Broadheads, leading the evolution in lethal technology.
After fighting it for 6 days with the bow, I finally decided to pick up a rifle. This was a real struggle for me because my goal was to take every animal with the bow. But with only 2 days left and only a few animals down, it was time. Unfortunately, I made the decision to go to a rifle in the field when Dustin was with Shelly. Once again, my PH volunteered to pick up the camera and capture what would be an eventful morning. Well, we're just on a roll today. Got a nice blessed buck here. Dropped him in his tracks. Super excited. This is pretty cool. are definitely putting me on the animals today. We're having a lot of fun. We busted our bus the first few days, but we're getting a little redemption now, so very nice spring buck. Still shaking. Still. This thing is huge. I can't be any happier. Thank you very much. Day 6 was a bang, literally. After a few hard-fought days, it felt good to put some animals on the ground. After getting my bull out of the bush, we got word that Shelly successfully connected on her second animal of the trip. So we were able to meet up with her just after the recovery.
So we made it into day 6, and I gotta tell you, the frustration is high. I was beat down pretty well last night. Everybody told me to pick up a rifle, and I just wouldn't do it. It was going to be an expensive plane ride home with my spring buck and my bow, but I was willing to do it. So we sat in a blind tonight, and we're actually hunting near citrus farms. These animals just love oranges, so all the oranges that they can't export, they're putting out in front of the blinds. And we sat there, we've sat a couple of nights with not much luck. We had a real small bull come in this morning right underneath us. Setting this evening, like I said, just frustrated, beat down with archery hunting in Africa. This guy and about 3 or 4 cows and a really small bull came in about 200 yards away, and they actually were coming down a little trail, and they circled around us and poked in and started eating right there at 20 yards in front of us, and he turned and gave me the shot I was looking for. Put it right through the pump station. He ran about 100 yards and piled up.
Nice. Good. Congrats, honey. Nice work. So I'm the cheater that came in with the rifle. We ended up getting our 10 animals. I went ahead and knocked down 5 of them today. But the frustration got to me. I wish I could have done it with a bow too, but I gave up earlier. Going into the last day of our 2014 African trip, there's still one animal on my list that I sought after, my Gims Buck. So we're on day 7, this is the last day. We've spotted a couple Gims Buck, and that was the top animal on my list, and we're gonna go ahead and make a stalk on him. Comes down to it, we can only get within a few hundred yards. We'll probably go ahead and take him with a rifle. Well, we got it done on the last day. This was my top list animal and couldn't be happier. I was very excited to harvest my Gims Buck, a true trophy in my eyes. And when we got back to the lodge, we had learned that Shelly was also successful on an animal that she had been chasing all week long.
So it is the last day of our Africa hunt, and we have been chasing Inyala since day one. And they have eluded us at every property. We got here this morning, found this big bull Inyala in this creek bottom. And we put a stalk on him through some thick, nasty stuff. Climbed one of these embankments on the other side at full draw, picked up over the edge, and he was staring at me at probably less than 20 yards. And I had to wait for him to stand up. I had a little branch covering the way and turn the arrow loose, and he's run about 70 yards and he's laid down, head down. We're just giving a few minutes to make sure. I am so thrilled. Thank you, Justin. Thanks to Hunter's Hill. Thank you, Smiley and Tommy. It has been an incredible week. Thank you.
Africa was truly an amazing adventure. The guys at Hunter's Hills went above and beyond trying to make our hunt everything it could be. From the lodging to the food to traveling to different areas and properties to make sure we got on animals that we were pursuing.
And in the end, we got to bring home all of the animals that were on our list. And we got to share that with my dad and some of our closest friends.
We always talked about this being a once-in-a-lifetime hunt, but after the experience, I think we're already planning our next trip to Africa.
Thanks for watching Outback Outdoors. We encourage you to comment below, and as always, like, subscribe, and click the alert to stay up to date on all our new videos.